are now tuned in to Hits 92.3, where we take great pride in personal expression of one's feelings, thoughts, or ideas. What you're getting ready to hear on this show are the opinions of the host and their guests, and they do not reflect the opinions of Hits 92.3 radio station, the brand, management, staff, their respective advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. Now stay tuned as this show begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is Hits 92.3, the ladies of FIYE Radio. This is your girl Sean D. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I'm sitting here across from me is who?
Your favorite dope girl from around the way, Sunday Jones. And next to me is my sis.
Tiny, tired Tanya.
The tiniest of tired Tanyas.
Oh, baby, she done worked her whole self to death. Okay, and in the room, we also got Frosty.
Yes,
Hey,
Shout out to
Frosty.
Frosty. Yeah.
And our behind the scenes sunshine always.
Sunshine, the DJ on the ones and twos, keeping us live and direct.
Listen, it's a Friday. I feel a happy Friday. I know Tiny tired, but and I know Tiny tired because she came in here. She was not her usually bubbly self.
I don't have no bubbles to do.
The bubbles is popped.
Oh, her bubbles is home. We're gonna see if we can get a couple of them back.
But I can say I had a great week.
Okay.
Yes. Despite me working continuously, I had a great week because my birthday was Sunday.
Yeah, shout out.
I had to work on my birthday, but my crew they made it a really, really, really good situation.
So that's good. So you had a great week.
Yeah, I did.
Winding down. When's your off? You off anytime soon?
Oh, I'm off. Yeah, starting tomorrow.
Oh, well, good. So celebrate that. Okay. Yes.
She gonna be resting tomorrow, baby. She gonna be resting.
I hope so.
I'm telling you, she might get back to it on Sunday.
We'll see.
Okay. So listen, tonight's topic is the state of America.
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
More so because we are in a state in America, but we have a special guest tonight that'll help us explain it a little bit more. Coming through.
Yes.
So
The state of America is, I don't know what kind of state this is.
it depends on what state you're in.
I mean, I'm talking about the state of America in itself as a whole. The state is gone to the left. It was already all the way. It ain't never been right. So listen, I was about to say it was right, but it ain't never been right.
It's never been right.
Now it's all the way to the left, but we trying to go up. Okay, we trying to come from down and go up. Okay, because baby,
We started at the bottom, now we here. Okay. And
we right here in the middle.
It still feel like the bottom a little bit, but because just things have not moved progressively forward in my imagination as things should be,
I think things are progressing and they have
Slowly.
moved forward, but it has been slow and we still have a long way to go.
And it's been such a fight.
Yeah.
It's been a huge fight. But I guess we've been fighting forever. It's never gonna go away. Keep the good fight
It
fighting.
ain't gonna never go away. I hope
No.
it go away one day. Cause I'm like, oh my God.
Now the opposition is always gonna be.
I'm not gonna speak that over our life like that.
I mean, I just be prepared.
I'm hoping that the opposition is not gonna always be that, and that one day we're gonna rise back.
And we on Kumbaya.
Rise back. I don't know about Kumbaya, but we're gonna rise back to the top. I don't know about Kumbaya because I don't think we're gonna get there in a Kumbaya kind of phase.
Okay.
But so you're right to a point. Like we're gonna always have to stand our ground and protect ours. You know what I'm saying? And protect the many things that were paved, the many things that were fought for,
Mm-hmm.
the many, what I'm saying, voting, going to school,
Mm-hmm.
even learning how to read.
Yeah, those things
the
are
many
progressions,
things
yes.
that, just to be, just to have.
Mhm.
So the many things that we have had to fight for and our ancestors have had to fight for us to get to this point, like we got to continue, to fight for those things in order for them to remain intact, because there is always something trying to deflect us from being able to vote, trying to deflect us from being able to walk down the street peacefully, trying to just deflect us from doing a lot of different things. So yeah, we got to keep fighting for sure. We got to fight for what has already been laid for us.
Right. And I feel like, I wasn't so much being negative as the fact that even when we win, we're going to still have to hold our ground, like you said, because, somebody going to come up behind us and try to push us out the way. So it's always going to be something, because that never goes away in the history, But maybe one day we can just overcome it and just keep
moving. Be ready for the good fight. Because at
the
end of the day, we got to be ready to, that's the problem. Like, we have to be ready to fight for what we believe in. Like, we have to stand for something in unity. Because if we don't stand for something in unity, we gonna always be falling down. You know what I'm saying?
For anything.
Yeah. So we're gonna be falling down if we don't stand for something in unity. We have to. Like, we have to.
When you said we shall overcome, it just made me refer back to Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. His assassination was just last week, April 4th. And to think that was just 50-something years ago.
Such a limited time ago.
Right.
Just. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's crazy.
And they were talking about.
It seems like it's like, maybe 100 or so years ago.
No, they just started accepting us. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Who's accepting us?
You know what I'm talking about. The racial thing.
I don't. Who's accepting us?
The racial divide.
We're accepted now? Because I don't feel so accepted. So I'm just trying to. I'm just keeping it 100. Like, I don't feel all that accepted, if you ask me. So I'm trying to see where the acceptance is.
It's definitely better. Yes.
Okay.
It definitely is. Especially when I was growing up. But I was just saying, I think they were talking about Forsyth County. And they were talking about how, people of darker color were not allowed to be there after the sun went down.
Did I tell y'all the story about when I was babysitting the little?
You had to go fast.
Oh, yeah.
In Forsyth County, and the old lady came out and was like,
"Get up out of here!
What are you doing here? Do you know where you are? You're in the land of the king." I was like, "It's time for me to go." I had to call my people to come and get me. I was a teenager babysitting a little girl, and her parents did not let me know where they lived at, and that was really scary.
Yes, the sundown towns, right? The sundown towns.
Yeah, I was a teenager, so that ain't been.
That's not that long ago.
That ain't even been 50 years since Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't. We ain't that far from. You know what I'm saying? We have come away, but we ain't there yet.
Yeah.
We still have a long way to go.
It is just like, okay, I read a story about it. These people went to Kentucky. Okay. And I can't remember what town it was. I don't know if it was Louisville. I can't remember. But anyway, they were having like a reunion. Okay. And it was a lot of them. And they were luxury. They were high class. You know what I'm saying? And it was people of color. And I guess it was sundown town. And the people came and they were like, "You can leave or we can make you leave." But it was so many of them. And they were like, "Okay, well, we're not leaving." They left. Because the people in Kentucky were so adamant about them getting out of their town. They're just like, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I just feel like you should be.
So you better be walking off.
Yeah, right. Because at least they know where they are. Yeah, it's just tough to see or hear really about those situations, because being a person of color, it's just I'm for everybody. I don't see color when I see people. I see people, but it's just other people don't share those same views.
That part.
Right. And it's hard even to go, like even acting, you know what I'm saying? I see a little bit of racism in certain instances, when I go different places. And it's just like,
I see racism on all sides, on our side, on everybody's side. It's a little bit because it's been instilled in all of us now. You know what I'm saying? There's not really a separation now. It's in the black culture, it's in the white culture, it's in the Asian cultures, it's in all of the cultures, because it's been presented now. It's been instilled in us now. So now we got to unlearn and relearn how not to be that way. And it's hard to do that if you keep running into instances that put you back in that box.
Right.
That says, I'm separate from you, we are not equal. You know what I'm saying? So what you gonna do?
Listen, I don't know.
I'm about to have a setback.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm like you, like I have friends of all nationalities. I have family members of all nationalities.
That part, yes.
In that regard, I judge people by their character and not their color. But If you step to me crazy, then I'm gonna see you for who you are, and I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, you one of them. Mm-hmm. Like,
listen, we need to go to our music selection. A little bit of RBG Reloaded by Putu.
Shout out to Putu.
Shout out Putu.
We are going to be united. We must first develop an undying love for our people. Our people. Our
RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 loaded, 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 loaded. RBG resurrected and they shall respect it. Most high protected, spiritually and well connected. Give it up for our ancestors one time. Then Africanism running through my bloodline. They thought it was a joke on some Steve Harvey shit. Fucked around and got it popping on some Barbie shit. 100 years in the game, they say it's a shame. We taking the mental, handle business, ain't no thing. Time to clean up the mess, it's the landfill. Corona flow makes the whole world stand still. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 loaded, 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 loaded. LIB plus RBG, we know our true identity. Black America, they try to take Liberia out of your history. Shout out to the indigenous in the hinterland, interior, with a culture and dialect. But make us really cool, hey. Belly of the peace, go for we come in talking. La bella true, Jolo boy, run your stomach. Y'all feel like joking business. Babylon, listen. Have fire on your spirit. Ella, why you trembling? This for the gangsters, man. This for the Zogos, man. This for the street children hustling with no hope, man. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 loaded, 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 loaded. They try to stop the prophecy, they should acknowledge me. Need everything stolen from us, plus an apology. Talking reparations and restitution, but we need to heal from the damage of these institutions. Let's put emotions to the side, it's the logic here. RBG still alive, hear me loud and clear. All enemies of progress, dropping fear. Now what a fight to the third eye, stop the fear. Work to the wise, this is season of judgment. In other words, we wait for the most high government. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 loaded, 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 loaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded. RBG reloaded, 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 reloaded.
Hey, what's going on? It's your man Putu, and I'm rocking with FIYE Radio on 92.3. Yeah.
Hey, the secret's out. Hits 92.3 is now accepting submissions for brand new shows. That's right, you can become a radio personality right here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. You don't have experience? That's okay. You don't live in Georgia? That's okay. You don't know what to do now? Now that's not okay. But your girl is here to help you out. Email us today at hits923newshow@gmail.com and tell us about your potential show with Hits. Again, that email address is hits923newshow@gmail.com. Don't be last. The slots are filling fast.
Hot nights.
And your ladies of FIYE Radio are back on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. And when we left off, we was talking about the state of America and how we was feeling about the state of America.
And I was dutifully laughing because Sunday just had me cracking up. It's just,
Yeah, what was so funny?
it's just the, I don't know, it's just the way that you just was like, and we ain't doing this. You crack me up. I swear. She cracked me up. She'd be so emphatic about stuff. Like, definitely. But that's how it makes you feel.
In my 25 years of my life.
That's right. Period.
Put that out there.
Period.
I've never experienced a racial situation.
That's unbelievable. I mean, amazing, but unbelievable.
You know, I purposely put myself in spaces with my people.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I purposely do
right.
it.
And that's a great way to avoid it.
When traveling, I do my research as to, you know, if it's
where
you know what I'm saying,
yeah.
what's going on in the area.
Yeah.
Because I did see one time on a review on what are those Airbnbs?
Okay.
We were looking at an Airbnb one time, and I looked at the review, and the review was like, "This was a horrible stay, and the neighbors are racist, and they called the cops on them for several things."
Okay.
And you know, to the point that the owner told them they had to leave. Yeah.
Wow.
And they were not doing anything. They kept the noise down to a minimum. They didn't even have guests, and it was just, I think they had DoorDash some food or something like that, and they made a claim like it's a lot of people out here, and you just, you know. So I do the reviews, and I'm like, not a good place for me to stay, you know.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, and you know how there's some people who that's their main goal. They want their kids to go to mixed schools or white schools, or I want to live in a white neighborhood. I've never had that feeling. I don't feel like that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, so
like
I feel
the culture from the kids.
You know, I'm just saying, like that's just never been my thing. I like to be in a community where it is, you know, I see people that's like me.
Yeah, see, I was different when I was raising my kids because I was more so on education and like the number of stars the school had. It wasn't so much of the area or who I lived around. I was really worried about the award excellence, you know, and unfortunately those were not in our area. And so I had to move, like we moved to East Cobb, you know what I'm saying? So we've always lived around people that were not like us, you know what I'm saying? But it was for the education of my children.
I know, because when I first moved down here, everyone was like pressing me, like, don't put your kids in Clayton County schools, and you should have them in Gwinnett County schools and stuff. And I'm like, I don't care, they're gonna be all right. Like, we're gonna be all right in Clayton County, because guess what? I may be running from the education, because at the time when we first moved down here, I think they had lost their accreditation or something like that. So I'm like, we may be running from that, but then they run into a whole nother situation where they're bullied or, you know, something like that. Where
they don't fit in.
So we can handle this. Because I know how to educate my kids for them to be up to par
and
with
so
everyone else.
That's where I failed, because my kids are not as cultured as they should be.
I was going to say, how did you implement like the culture by them going to those schools? Like,
we read a lot, definitely. My kids were, you know, like Ransom said, I always kept a book in my kids' hands, like from early on. Like, I always kept them in the house, though. You know what I'm saying? They were their brother's keeper. There was 4 of them growing up. So they were each other's friends, you know what I'm saying? Because we had a lot of racism and a lot of, you know, animosity. You know what I'm saying? A lot of what y'all doing here, you know, because sometimes my boys were the only Black kids in the class, depending on what class they were in. So just making sure that, you know, they knew, like, watching all the Black movies, making sure they knew their history, making sure they knew their culture, making sure they stayed, you know, grounded as far as Black men, you know, because my kids grew up in a 2-woman household, you know, because my partner at the time, definitely my wife, you know what I'm saying, the woman. And so they grew up around women, you know, and they really didn't have any male role models, but we try to fill in educating them on the things that we knew and the things that we knew to do, you know. But like I was telling my uncle the other day, I really wish that those things that y'all know, you know what I'm saying, would have been implemented into my boys. But I moved to Georgia and then left all my family behind, you know, and then I was just after I got divorced from my first husband, I think I was just too proud to go back home. You know what I'm saying? Tail between your legs. You know what I'm saying? You didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? And I stuck it out. Yeah, I made it. Made it do what I do. And just going back to the neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying? It was always a challenge. I remember my son's high school football game, and it was like a championship or whatever. And I had gone upstairs with the other moms, and they were cleaning and they were doing stuff, and they were all not my color. Okay. And then so I'm cleaning up, I'm helping, I'm fitting in, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk to people. And then one lady goes, "You're fine. You don't have to do that. You can go." Yeah. Excuse me? I'm not here to work, boo. I'm here to help. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of that. They didn't want me in their circle.
They didn't want you in their circle.
No, they definitely didn't want me in their circle. Yeah. And I'm loud and very outspoken. So they definitely did not want me in their circle because I'm not going to sit back and just let y'all run me, especially if I'm the only one. So it was difficult, but I felt like in the long run it was worth it. But I can see the cultural difference in my children. I could see the lack of being a black man, you know what I'm saying, in my children. I can see that definitely. So
that's deep.
Yeah.
Deep right there. I think that's what I love most about, even though I went through a lot growing up in different places, in different households, in different states, I am rounded, you know what I'm saying, in a lot of areas. Yeah. And what I love most about living in New York was it was everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like in the building that I lived in, on the block that I lived in the area that I lived in, it was everybody. It was African, Jamaican, Haitian, Black. It was Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican. Like it was everybody. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't about white, black. It wasn't that. It was about this our block. This is our block.
So we're together.
This is our neighborhood. This is our block. It was never about, oh, you Dominican, I'm black. It's never that. It's we all cool. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I love most. And I'm not saying that there's no racism up top, because it is.
Oh, it is.
But you don't see it like that. It's
prominent in the
you know
South,
what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah.
And so then it was like, because I left here when I was 7, and though I was visiting and stuff, it was like when I was 10, my bad. And when I came back to go to high school, baby, I said, what are people at?
Right.
Because it was just me. It was just my color. It was no Puerto Rican. It wasn't no Dominican. It wasn't no. It was just black folks. Right. And I was just like, where's everybody at? It was like a sprinkle of white people. A sprinkle of you know what I'm saying? It was about 2 or 3, and there might have been 1 or 2 Mexicans. And I was like, where is everybody at? And the school was different. I was so hurt. I was just like, it was a culture shock for me. And I was like, I don't got no friends. And it was just so different. You know what I'm saying? It was like, wow. It kind of blew me a little bit. And I had to get used to just being around us. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow. And the school was different. And they was teaching. It was like, and so in New York, it's like when you in junior high, they're prepping you for high school already. Okay. When you're in high school, you're already being prepped for college. You know what I'm saying? When you're in high school, you're already taking what it is you want to take for college. And then you go to college, and then you already up one. And when I came here, it was like they was behind. And I was behind
one, yeah. It took Atlanta a minute to catch up.
I was like, what is this? And so that put me in a state of, I don't want to do nothing. Yeah, because I ain't learning nothing, because y'all don't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't understand it was just like a cultural difference. It was like they ain't got nothing because
they don't give us opportunity.
They don't give us the same opportunity.
I was definitely doing a lot more like white activities growing up as a child.
Yeah, it didn't click for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? It clicked for me until later on, and I was like, oh, it's because I'm in a black neighborhood. Yeah. It's because, you know what I'm saying? Not because, and I was in Tri-City, so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, okay, and then click. But it's definitely a difference. So that kind of gave me a whole nother perspective. You know what I'm saying? Listen, a whole nother perspective.
Okay. We're about to go to some music again. Divine Timing, Soul 9. Shout out to Soul 9.
Shout out to Soul 9.
I think your guest is here.
Yeah, I think so. I heard that.
first day out, but I've been around since before this. I was a thing, understanding by the K first sang. Power moves only got to us when you were born. Continental shifts as I moved through the hurricane. I heard a thing, made a vow, will never let that happen again. All these tears of joys coming out these days, steady stacking his daily bread. Listen as I bellow, the young fellow was well fed. Had wealth before I had possessions, technicians, eviscerating the opposition. Felt like fighting, no one else to see the vision. Got the block on just like the teacher's mission. Really on a mission, told you that in the beginning. Face card impeccable, God steady, winning steady, even getting great nutrition. Shit, for fun to say, people stressing, riches, blessing. Say what a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. Say what a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. Effortlessly navigating through these planes. Once you do that, it can't go back to being the same. Sometimes I wonder why I gave it a chance. Cause now you try to use it like a man. Two steps into the proverbial dance. Spin around the sun, trying to have a little fun. Hard, but I'm going down. Got it up and got it down. I just take it from the one. Tell you what you want to come. I just went and ring a bell when I beat it like a drum. Finally got the vibe. I go back to the town. Steady bringing blessings to the city that I'm from. So divine, it's alright, it's alright. What a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. What a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. What a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. What a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. What a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. What a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. What a time, so divine, it's alright, it's alright. Yeah, what up? Alright, you already know, you man, Mr. Cheese in the building. Big Nights in the building. Your boy Pretty Look doing what I do. Hey, man, where we at? FIYE Radio. In your ear, baby. Alright, hit 92.3.
Hot mics.
They gonna be out there for a minute.
And we are back on Hits 92.3, Real Definition of Internet Radio with the ladies of FIYE Radio. And we are about to get hungry while we go into Dish Diaries of a Diva.
Hey, welcome to Dish Diaries of a Diva. This is your girl, Sean D. I hope you're hungry. Listen, because I was just a little while ago. Let me tell you, I was starving all day, right? So me and Sunday, we've been out doing photo shoots and driving around the Atlanta trying to make it happen. So we ended up at the Sweet Auburn Market, right?
Yes.
And of course they have a plethora of food stalls in there, you know, and then we ended up going at like 4:00. That's not a good time to go because they close at 5. Okay, so a couple of things were closed, very disappointing because we weren't able to get the milkshakes we wanted, there's just a host of things. But if you haven't been to Sweet Auburn, the address is 209 Edgewood Avenue. That's in Atlanta. It is literally behind Grady. So you can't say you don't know where it is. It's right there. They used to have free parking, but I think it's $2 now for an hour.
With a validation.
To make sure you get the car validated, or they're gonna try to charge you $5 or $10. But we stopped by a new place that's been in there. It's called Matt Shoes.
Mm.
It is an Asian sandwich or Asian fusion place. I wasn't quite sure about it because the prices kind of hit me a little bit, right? And I was just like, what did I order, right? Because I wasn't expecting that, but I'm never one to be like, never mind. You know what I'm saying? So we just keep it moving. So the gentleman there, he told me, I just asked him basically what he liked, right? So of course he's gonna pick the most expensive thing on the menu, which I'm not even thinking about. But let me tell you something. When I got the food, I was waiting on Sunday to get her food. So I'm just gonna taste it a little bit just to see. But I almost ate the whole damn tray. It had bang bang shrimp, okay? Which if you don't know what bang bang shrimp is, it's fried shrimp and it has like a spicy, what kind of sauce was that Sunday? It was like a spicy yum sauce.
Mm-hmm.
But the rice, when I tell you that was probably the best shrimp fried rice I have ever had. And I never had like fried shrimp in the shrimp fried rice. So it was hands down probably 10 out of 10. Like it was the best. So I did tell him, I was like, I'm gonna have to do a little shout out because the food was good, And I also had the hot chick buns. And those were really good. I shared those. And it was a spicy buttermilk fried chicken with pickled red onions, scallions, spicy Asian sauce, which is the yum sauce, and it's on a honey slider roll. And then you also have some like cilantro ranch. Say that
It's
cilantro
jalapeno
ranch.
cilantro.
Cilantro.
It's a cilantro.
She say it like that.
Cilantro.
It's a cilantro jalapeno sauce.
Okay, yes. But so good. They also have vegan options. They had a ramen sandwich, vegan sandwich, and they had the vegan Philly cheesesteak, which Sunday ain't tapped into yet, so we don't know how that is.
I'll let y'all know.
We're waiting on it, And they also had a bulgogi cheesesteak, which I love bulgogi, so I'm interested to try that next time because I didn't get it this time, but I'm definitely going back.
I got one more thing.
Right? Because I'm always trying to try stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, hands down, Matt Shoes, in the Sweet Auburn Market.
Sounds good.
It was delicious. So I was very, very pleased with my selection because there's so many different things in there. And then yesterday we went to Mexico Lindo.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Mexico Lindo. Listen, first of all, Mexico Lindo is my favorite Mexican restaurant in Atlanta back in the day, right? So we were in that area the other day, yesterday, and I was like, okay, we can go here. So Mexico Lindo is located at 848 Veterans Memorial. It's in Mableton. So if you're in Atlanta, just keep on going down, Veterans Memorial. You'll see it. It's on the right-hand side.
Okay.
But they haven't changed, right? So this is good because I haven't been there in years. And the food is just as good.
It's really good.
Man, salsa was fresh. Guacamole, get the chunky guacamole.
It was so good.
Because they have an option. You can get the creamy guacamole, you get the chunky guacamole. I'm from California. I want it chunky. It was
I like it
so
chunky
good.
too.
Yes.
I don't know if I want no smush mash.
I don't want that. Nah, I don't want that. I want something I can rip it too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And I got a whole vegan menu.
it's a whole vegan menu. It's like 12 things on there.
Yes, I was like, let's go.
So I had the hot potato fajita, which was different. It's a lightly fried potato with your regular fajita toppings. I got the Texas, which includes the steak, the chicken, and the shrimp. Of course, steak pudding, you know me. But it was so good, and it was so much that I ate half there, and then I had it at 2:00 in the morning when I woke up. It was delicious. So the hot potato fajita. We also had a blueberry margarita. Ooh. Was it blackberry? Blackberry margarita. Ooh, it was so good and fresh, and it was really good.
Now that I've never heard of.
It was so good.
Us either. Yeah, us either. So usually I'll get the mango, pineapple, the regular flavors.
Yeah.
Sunday chose blackberry. I was like, okay, we got something
Blackberry is
different.
like one of my favorite fruits. So I was like, let's get the blackberry. And it was good. Because I know I don't really drink like that. I don't drink no more. So,
couldn't tell her that yesterday.
Sunday lit.
Man, yes. So Sunday ordered the vegan quesadilla. It was really good.
It was.
There was no leftovers.
It was not. I ate the whole. Normally I be saving it for later, but I had the vegan quesadilla. It had peppers, onions, vegan cheese, and vegan crumbles, and what else did it have? Oh, I had to get. So normally when I go out to Mexican, I gotta get black beans.
Right.
But this time they had a vegan menu, so I got refried beans and rice. So I was excited.
Yes.
I was like,
because usually there's no vegan refried beans. There's no vegan, and they usually have like lard or whatever in it, or whatever oil that they put in it.
But it was good. I tore it up.
Okay.
It was done.
Yes. So we spent a little bit of time in Mexico Lindo yesterday, and we had a great time. So if you're ever in the mood for Mexican food, you're in Mableton, stop by Mexico Lindo. Actually, the server was awesome. He was very attentive, checking back with us even before we before we was ready. I'm like,
can you give us a minute?
Yeah, it's like, thank you, come back. You know what I'm saying?
He was good though.
But it was a great time, and they had music going, and the ambiance is
The
nice.
vibe was good.
Yes. So
That's nice.
those are my two for this week. Thank y'all for joining me for Dish Diaries of a Diva.
Hey.
Look, keeping it hungry till next week. But
It was really good.
Okay.
it was. So let's jump back to where we were, right?
Okay, so going back to what we were saying.
Uh-huh.
All right, just to be clear, I never was in a predominantly black space.
Okay.
Just like Sunday said, everywhere was very mixed cultures, But the thing is that it is a black neighborhood.
Yeah.
It is a black school. I went to Jackie Robinson High School, so that's,
It is, but it
That's
ain't.
black.
It's like it is, but it ain't.
But you know that the teachers, the students that are, Caucasian, they wanted to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be there, right?
Yeah, they wanted to be there. So it wasn't like you get a sense of feeling like you're invading their space. They wanted to be in our space and a part of our space. So it was very mixed, and I mean, we got the best of the best of everything.
Yeah.
Because you learn the different foods, and
my God.
like when I go to the Italian area, I love the matzo ball soup, and I mean, they used to take care of us.
See, that's the kind of areas I wanted to live in.
Yeah,
when I was
but
younger.
that's
right.
Again,
Oh my
even
God.
when we went to the Jewish neighborhood,
Mhm.
and no, matzo ball is Jewish.
That's Jewish.
Okay, so
Mhm.
now the Italian, what was that we used to get when we went to the
Was it
Italian?
meatballs?
It is meatballs, but it was oh gosh, I'm gonna think of the name.
Is it? It start with an A.
It's gonna come
I'm
to
a
me.
genie.
It's gonna come to me.
Okay.
Because where I went to school, when I went to high school, in another mixed area,
Mhm.
but it's those blocks are so long from the train station to the
Yes.
actual school, so every block that you pass on is like a different demographic. So
Yeah.
it's different foods, it's Chinese
Oh
food,
my
is that,
God.
but everybody was like into us.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Asians, they dress just like us,
Okay.
Jordans, Guess jeans, and all
Everybody
that.
kind of like the same.
That's
like,
what I'm
it's
saying.
not
So you never really had to understanding that there's a difference
Mhm.
right.
or anything like that. It's not until I got older and you start hearing these things about the workforce and things like that or whatever, where you start learning that
Yeah, and you see the difference.
is a problem
right?
with certain things or
Yeah.
whatever. But like to say a personal
Mhm.
situation with myself where I can say that I felt some type of way or whatever, never. And I don't know if that
That's a
has
lesson.
I don't know if it has to do with the fact
Do
that
you think it's more because y'all were just younger? Like it's more like the
Even to
adults
this
have
day.
the issues,
Even
and
to
it's
this
more.
day.
It's the same.
No. Really?
Because
That's interesting.
yeah,
even to this day,
because
like
adults were the same. It's the same for us.
I would work on a tour and white people, they just gravitate to me.
Mhm.
And I said, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm little, I don't look like somebody that's aggressive. Or I
Intimidating.
don't,
You
I
don't
don't,
look
I,
like-
I don't come off
intimidating.
aggressive or anything,
Mhm.
like so. but they just love me.
They pick like someone comfortable, and I've noticed that over the years. Like I've always been their comfortable go-to for every culture. That it's because you have this like, hey, I'm open. I'm not gonna chew you down, but they don't know.
Like
who
I'm
you are,
not even
yeah,
on
you
that
give
type
off
of thing.
like a
Yeah.
innocent.
So I never had an experience to say like, I'm affected by it. Not saying that it don't exist, because I know
Oh, yeah. I wish I
that
could
it
say that,
exists.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that it exists.
I've had plenty of instances, and that's possibly because I was in the area.
In the area.
In
Yeah,
different
that's
areas.
why.
Yeah, different
Because I didn't
areas.
have instances until I moved back here.
But see,
So-
this is the only problem I
Yeah.
had. In California, I had no instances. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because we grew up with Vietnamese in our area,
Mixed.
Mexican, Hispanics.
Mixed.
You know what I'm saying? It was always like it wasn't I guess as diverse as y'all's, because we always had Hispanic and Vietnamese.
Everybody was mixed.
Pretty much that was it. You know, in our neighborhood growing up, and Black. And then it was just like those are the people we went to school with. My favorite, let me tell you, I know they changed their names, but my favorite two people growing up, one was named Timu Lee, and the other one name was Lynn, Lin.
Mhm.
And those were my two best friends all the way through elementary school till middle school, And one of Timu Lee's mom owned a nail shop, okay? And then the other girl, Lynn, her dad owned like the little grocery store in the area, little side market or whatever. We'd be up in there playing, running through
I remember
the
you
little
said
meat
that,
area. I loved, growing up in
You
the
didn't see
diversity.
difference. Yeah.
Yes.
You don't see it until you step outside of it, really.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But when I came to Georgia, that's when a lot of stuff changed.
Yeah.
We didn't have the Black excellence in California, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge cultural difference when I came here, along with the non-colored people, that
See,
were
I always said Black excellence growing up,
Mhm.
just from my family.
right.
Going to Cleveland was
Yeah.
different for me because that was a majority Black
Mhm.
in the areas that we were in.
Mhm.
But we always ventured outside of that. But my aunt owned bars.
Okay.
So that was a different type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this, Sunday, because your family comes from a long line of entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, being in America, and as we are and who we are as colored Americans, with them having their own businesses, did you see any differences when it came to those kind of things?
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't see them. That don't mean that they didn't see them.
see
I
them.
know that my
Mhm.
mom, she told me she was the first Black. She was the first woman
Mhm.
the first woman to own her own vending company. That's what my grandfather did.
Okay.
And so also the first Black woman. Okay.
Okay.
But when she used to go to get the vending machines, when she first started to go, they would be not trying to sell them to her. And so my grandfather went and was like, "This is my daughter, and
Right.
y'all gonna."
So he had to pave the way for her.
Yeah, he had to go
Uh-huh.
and be like, "This is my daughter, and she can have whatever she wants."
Mhm.
And then that's what she did. She, And then after that, she owned a multitude of barbershops.
Okay.
Um,
So there was never anybody that non-colored that came in and tried to shut the businesses down that you know of,
Girl,
or
you
tried
don't know my
to.
family. They're not having none
I
of
know
that
you.
shut down kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different kind of dynamic. See,
Mhm.
my family is different from other families. They're not.
Okay.
It's not happening.
It's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, that's a whole nother element to the, so that's not happening. So
It just-
that don't mean that it happens to other families and other
right,
people.
because you know
what I'm
how
saying?
the stories are, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard so much about Black families that tried to have businesses but were shut down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they ain't gonna get shut down, but I'm sure that there was some tries.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
of course there were.
Like
It
Oklahoma,
had to be, right?
like
Yeah,
situations
of
like
course
the Black
there
Wall Street and
You know
all
what I
of
mean?
that.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, because see, that's where my grandma's from. That's where she migrated to after she left Oklahoma. No, I'm sorry, Mississippi.
Mhm.
We are from Mississippi, but when she got older, she got married. She moved to Oklahoma, so that's where the Black Wall Street. She was, out there,
Tulsa,
and
yeah.
they just shut everything down, and it was just like, that's just the craziness of it
Yeah.
all. And my grandma, she was born in '44, so I would say she was probably in Tulsa when she was like 15, so about 1960. I would say about then. That's when she was in Tulsa. And there was no Black excellence left at that point at all. So, just wondering because, they shut us down so often. You know, that coming from a long line of entrepreneurs, I was just wondering if you ever heard any of the stories of the trials, you know, that they would have had to go through because of.
I didn't hear any stories like that. I do remember. So my grandfather, his father was a slave owner.
Okay.
And his mother, which would be my great grandmother, was the slave. And her and him were together. He was raping her. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But anyway, she got pregnant with my grandfather, and the wife of my great grandfather, she poisoned my great grandmother.
Oh,
and she died.
Oh my!
And so growing up, my grandfather met my grandmother, and so once he decided, you know, like, okay, I'm with her.
Yeah.
His father told him that he can either leave her alone and come over here with them and do, because they own like liquor, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they own some stuff.
Yeah. And or he could choose my grandmother, and then he would be pretty much, you know, expelled from the family. And so he chose my grandmother, built her house and all of that, and they had 10 kids.
Wow.
And here we are.
And here you are.
Know what I'm saying? Here we are.
In all your glory. Absolutely.
Yeah, so he was pretty much banished from his family because, you know, he fell in love with my grandmother. But he was black too, but you couldn't tell.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because his mother was black, but his dad was white. So it was that he could pass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He could pass. And so, you know, that was them having a little bit of grace, being able to pass for some things, and him being able to do things, you know, maybe without them in presence or what have you. But they did a lot of migration from the South to Ohio, back and forth like that, because my grandfather and my grandmother, they first owned the bars, and then my aunt owned bars as well. So one was passed to her, and then the other one she did. But so I'm sure there were a lot of, they said my granddaddy stayed in jail.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there was a lot of blockage and trying to, you know what I'm saying, do different things to block them from certain things. But baby, my grandmama a soldier. Okay, ain't that popping now, baby. Come to the door, come try it. Just come, that's all I'm saying. Come try. Right.
Yeah,
Come try.
Get it from my grandma.
Yeah,
from my grandma.
I get it from my grandma. Yeah, my uncles, that wasn't no joke. You know what I'm saying? So it, you know, it is what it is. I didn't see a lot of that, but I'm sure that they seen a lot of that. You know, because I was a kid at the end of the day, so I didn't see all of the background.
Right. But you know how growing up, you hear stories. I was just wondering, you know, just to see, because I mean, we're still, like I said, we're still kind of in the same boat. It's getting better.
We are, but there have been some families that have been able to overcome that. You know what I'm saying? Money will get you, you know, in places that it don't matter your color sometimes.
You better say it
again. What I'm saying? You can hop over, you know, but you got to be careful who you get in the bed with, because all money ain't good money and all deals ain't good deals.
And all people are not
all good people ain't good people. That's why I flow off of energy. So I don't care nothing about how much money you got and what you want to do and how you want to do it. We got to be in some good standing, because everything that I do is going to be in good faith. I ain't always been like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's important, because if we don't all do things that we need to do in good faith and good works for the people, for our people, for us, you know what I'm saying? Then where do we go from there?
Yeah.
You know, how can we elevate? How will we overcome some of the obstacles? You know, it has to be the people that can fight for the obstacles, for the people that won't or can't fight for the obstacles.
Right.
You know, so it's just pretty much that part. But we're going to go to a little music, Arrested Development, Everyday People, because we are everyday people.
Fix the camera. Wait till he sits down. And I. Towards her a little bit more. Wait, it kicked off. Turn it towards him. A little bit more. It keeps cutting off because we're moving it. But yeah, right about there. When the camera comes on, you'll see it just needs just a little bit more, but go ahead, let's try it. Towards him. Missed it. Then it cut off. That thing is sensitive. Huh? Like if you move it too much or if it has too much vibration, it disconnects from the server. You just gotta connect it back. Is something kicking it or anything under the table because it keep doing it? Let me see. Is it hitting something? Alright, let's see if it stays. Said before. She put me off of them. Here we go. You know, hit it. Whoa. Girl, no, this was one of my favorite songs. I used to love this song. I'm telling you, I love this song.
FIYE Radio on 92.3.
Hot mics.
And we're back. It's the ladies of FIYE Radio, and we are here with James J.T. Brown, candidate for sheriff of Fulton County.
Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome.
How are you today?
I'm glad to be here, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you all for inviting me to this show.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Yes.
Yes.
So you are the candidate sheriff of Fulton County.
Yes.
Tell us about that. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us what that looks like.
Well, let me tell you a bit about my background.
Okay.
Who's James J.T.
Who
Brown?
Who is James J.T. Brown?
There you go.
That's what you should know first.
Okay.
Morehouse graduate.
All
Went on
right.
and got a master's degree from Central Michigan University Administration. Went on and completed a doctoral program in management and organizational leadership. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, where we serve the community for many, many years. Feed the homeless. We can go on and on with that. Member of Ebenezer Baptist Church, where I serve there. Yes. I have a son, London Brown.
Hey, London.
Yeah, London's behind me standing over there.
Amazing. Building with us. Yes.
He just turned 18 in December. He's a senior at Riverwood High School of Fulton County Schools. And I'm honored to say he got in Morehouse College.
Hey, congratulations,
And I didn't have to call anyone.
Yeah.
You did it on your own, huh?
Yeah, he did it on
Good
his
job.
own.
Good job.
Good job.
And I'm married to Monisha Brown. We've been married for 19 years.
I love Monisha.
She's behind the scenes doing everything possible to make this campaign of mine run smooth.
Yeah, she working.
Communication-wise.
Yes. She's
She
the
is
battery.
definitely
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
She is definitely the battery. I love Mo.
Yes.
Since the day we met.
Yes.
Yes.
But most important, I am a retired Fulton County Deputy Sheriff where I served for 30 years
Yes.
without getting indicted.
Put that in there.
You gotta put that in
job.
there.
Right.
Yes.
I did my job. I worked in every division there was, court division, jail division, and law enforcement division. And in every division, I received recommendations for being a best in that division.
Yes.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
Yes. Something to
That's
stand
good
on.
to hear.
Yes.
And I can tell the difference. You said 30 years.
Yes.
And I can tell the difference from, because I grew up in Fulton County, in East Point, College Park. And I can tell the difference from then until now. The difference of the state of just the county,
Right.
the state of Georgia, really. But I can definitely tell the difference from then to now. It definitely needs some help and some work.
Yes. The sheriff's office right now is what I call an unusual defiance because we got black men dying in jail at a massive rate.
Yes.
Last year,
Happening all the time.
we had 10 to die, and already this year, we had 3 to die. That's not acceptable.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No. The jail, we went over there a couple of years ago. We knew the jail was in a crisis. The retirees were called out to help. So I went over there to help, went inside that jail, and it was like a third world jail to me. So I knew something had to be done. So I started positioning myself to run, to make sure that I was in a position in the 2 years to run for sheriff from Fulton County so we could correct the atrocities that are going on with our black men dying in jail. So this race is very important for
It
us
is.
as a community.
How do you feel like you can help that particular situation?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I'm going to focus on the deaths, the dollars, and diversion. Okay? The deaths, I'm going to go in there, assess, make sure that the security rounds are being adhered to. We're going to do a security survey first. Make sure the policy and procedure is being adhered to like when I was there. Okay. Next is going to be the dollars. The mismanagement of the tax dollars. I'm going to be a watchdog over that.
Okay.
We're not going to use those tax dollars to buy fancy vans that you've been seeing in the news a couple of days. Sprinter vans where we can ride our people around in and showboat, as I call it. I'm going to take a line item budget and make sure that it is transparent for the taxpayers to see that every dollar spent is used on the sheriff's office and the criteria that we're supposed to be using it on. Okay, so what that means is if I'm buying a vehicle, it's going to be a transport vehicle to transport detainees. It's going to be a vehicle to help with public safety, not no vehicle so I can ride around and look pretty in. And I'm JT Brown. I'm not going to do pretty talk either. We don't need any more orators, productions.
Right.
We need someone who can do the job. I will do the job and make sure it's adhered to. James JT Brown.
That's right. Listen, and the
With a
way he
plan.
said, I believe it.
And the last is diversion. This is the most important with our youth. We have black men who cannot read. And this is, I'm gonna tell you this, I was in the warrant division. Okay. When I executed juvenile warrants, I used to ask the young man, why do we have to come pick you up from your house and your parents are scared of you. And they used to say 80% of the time, well, deputy, when I got to school, I could not read, so I got teased by other students. You know how kids tease each other. So I dropped out. So when they drop out, guess what they do? They do crime.
That's right.
And they end up
That's all they know.
in the pipeline system to jail. So I said, if I ever got in charge, I was going to make sure I have a literacy program for the youth.
Yes.
So that's why I'm here with you all, because you are a grassroots organization that understands that. I went to one of your events and it was spectacular. I mean, we had everyone there mentoring to the youth.
Yes.
That's what we need in the community.
That's right.
We don't need any more just show up and I give a great speech and then you don't do anything.
Right.
No,
We need you to work with the kids.
We need to work.
Yes.
And that's one of my initiatives I'm going to have with the youth. Next is going to be the detainees that are in the jail. We're not just going to let them sit there and have idle time, because when they have idle time, guess what's happening?
Idle minds.
More crime happens inside the jail.
Yes.
That's why you see the stabbing a couple of days ago. Another detainee got gutted out. Okay? That should not be happening for two reasons. Somebody wasn't doing their job, so it has to be accountability for that. Then the other detainees should be doing something where they don't have that idle time to make weapons and all that.
Right.
Okay? So we're going to have programs for them to be able to do constructive work while they're in there.
Yeah, because if not, then what are they going to do when they come home?
Right.
They're going to do the same repeat things.
Exactly.
Because they don't have anything else to go back to.
Yeah.
You're sending them to a process of being incarcerated, which, you know, whatever crime you did, okay, whatever, but I'm doing my time. Let me do better. Let me learn how to do better while I'm here, so that I can come home and be rehabilitated and not go back to what I was doing before. I think that's very important.
It is very important. Let me tell you how important it is, and what you said, that just because they had trouble doesn't mean trouble should follow them all their life.
They deserve second chances.
So, my barber was a trustee at the Fulton County Jail. All right? I met him there. He used to sweep floors and he used to talk to me all the time. I was in the transfer division and our office had trustees and clean up. Talk to him all the time. So he ended up going down the road because he's a dope boy, big dope boy in Atlanta. He did over 10 years down the road, went down to Jackson, went down Alto and all that good stuff. But one day I was coming through Hateville and I heard somebody say Brown. And when somebody says Brown, I know where they know you from.
You know where they know you from.
But what's so good about it, Brown don't have to do like this.
Okay.
I treated everyone right.
Right.
Okay. So he said, hey man, I did my time and I got out. I said, okay, good. And I remembered him. So we talked. He said, I'm cutting hair now. I learned that while I was in the camp. I said, okay. He said, well, why don't you come by, get your hair cut? Now, I'm not going to lie. I had to hesitate for a minute. Hold on now. And I thought about it. I said, let's give a man a chance.
Yeah.
Right.
He's been cutting my hair for over 18 years.
Yeah.
London been with him since 5, cutting his hair. So this is one of his cuts, and that's his hairstyle back there. Yeah. Now, every now and then, Chris might go a little bit, and he'll call me, and I get him back on track. No, brother, we ain't going back on that road no more.
Yeah, that's the good part.
That's the
good part. That they feel safe enough or secure enough to be able to call you and say, Mr. Brown, I'm thinking about doing this right here because it's just not working out. You can bring them back to the ledge and let them know that it's okay. It's okay, but you gotta come on back. So that's good because that's what we need.
That's right.
Redirection. Yes, exactly. That's what's needed.
So on that, with the detainees, I'm gonna have programs in there like that, haircutting, cosmetology, what is it called?
Cosmetology.
That's a lady's term, so I like to know it's Morehouse man, but that's one word I didn't get. Sorry.
There's men in cosmetology as well, Ms.
Yeah.
Brown.
You're right.
He's like, that is not his forte.
Yeah.
That's not his thing.
Yeah. But I'm gonna have programs for the men and women who are detained. Now, this is what I'm gonna do after they get out.
That's what I want to. You know, that's what I want to hear about.
Yeah.
What's happening when they come home?
Remember, I just told you I kept up with Chris. We're gonna have a division that keeps up with them. It's not gonna be a probation where they gotta check in, but we're gonna check up on them and say, hey, are you still in the program if they didn't finish? We're gonna let them finish it out.
Okay.
You got me on after they get there, they do county time. Because I want to see them doing well. I want to see everyone doing like we are. I want to see young black men not even going to the pipeline prison, being like my son.
Right.
I want them to have opportunities.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I'm going to do there. Keep up with them. But I'm going to even go a step further. Say they get time out of the Fulton County system, 10 years. I'm going to have a system where the state calls Sheriff J.T. Brown, yes, Sheriff James J.T. Brown up and says, Mr. Such and Such will be out. Remember, this is after he does 10 years.
Okay.
This is just for Fulton County detainees who go to the state and get their time. We're going to have a program so when they get back, they can go through the training program so they won't be a public safety issue with them.
Right.
Because if they don't do anything, they'll go back to work.
I was going to ask you about I think it's called recidivism.
Recidivism.
Yes.
Recidivism.
You know,
Recidivism.
I got a list, so y'all got to
No,
go
you
with
good.
it. The recidivism. And that's good that you have that program so that they will not be repeat offenders.
Exactly.
Because that's what I had to look that word up. And definitely it means the tendency of a convicted criminal to reoffend. So coming back to that and you understanding the importance of them not repeating and not, continuing the process.
Exactly.
Is that what you're doing?
Yes, that's what I'm going to do.
Great.
Make sure. And it's recidivism. Everybody remember that. Recidivism.
Yes.
So they don't repeat what they did to get in trouble.
Right.
To break it down with simple terms.
Yes, because we were listening to
It's not
a
a
show.
program.
Yeah, there's definitely not a program. We were listening on a show on NPR today, and they were talking about the repeat offenders, and they were talking about the men on probation, and how difficult it was. Like even if they did the slightest thing, you know what I'm saying? Like one guy, he was at work, but he had his fourth probation officer, and she didn't understand he was at work. Well, when she went, she didn't call him or anything. She went to his house, and when she knocked on the door, he wasn't home. And what is that called? She issued a warrant for his arrest, and he got arrested. He had a job, he had a car, he had a house, he had a girlfriend. He went to jail for 6 weeks. When he came out, he had nothing. And so those are the things that we want to see change, and people being in jail for the smallest offense, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so many instances that I hear about people getting arrested for the smallest thing and being in jail for 6 months to a year, and it's for nothing, So what do you plan on doing about just that process and making sure that those things don't, reoccur under your
Now, that is good what you just said. I was in the warrant division.
Okay.
Besides juvenile warrants, the felony warrants, midnight day out of the old National Precinct. So when I used to look at a warrant, my partner and I, we used to size it up. We all of the felony warrants.
Okay.
And we would go to some houses and it'd be a child support. Guy have a house, family and all that. Probably was married again, got kids. So I used to say to him, hey, if we take you to jail, you probably lose your job. Because something's going on with the finances. I said, I'm going to give you 2 days. 2 days. If you don't get this taken care of, we're going to come back. Then you're going to have to do what we have to do. So we used to, as officers, used to give them a second chance.
See, that is amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So you have to have emotional intelligence as an officer. And that comes from leadership. And that's not in our policy and procedure book.
No.
That's in your heart.
You gotta know when.
You gotta know when.
Yeah.
Now, if they want a rapist and all that. No, and you're going to jail.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, you
yeah.
gotta go to jail.
Yeah, you gotta go to jail.
Yeah.
And we have many of those and murders.
Yes.
But like you stated,
It's
the
more-
average
yeah.
person going to Fulton County is usually a low level felon.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous the amount of time that they have to spend
Spend
in
in
jail,
Mhm.
you know. And like they said, there's so many obstacles. They come out, they do good, they're following probation, they're following the rules and regulations, they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Mhm.
And there's one little thing that
Right.
maybe miscommunication even.
Right.
Maybe somebody didn't understand
Mhm.
what somebody else did, you know,
Mhm.
but it doesn't matter because none of that matters. The bottom line is the warrant is issued
Mhm.
and now you're back in jail.
Back in there.
Mhm.
And I'm going to work very hard with the other criminal justice affiliates,
Mhm.
probation,
Mhm.
the court system, make sure that that doesn't happen where we have to go out and rearrest the individual because of
Yes.
communication issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if, I'm not saying if, when you go through with this formula and it's successful within Fulton County, are you open to training other counties so they can follow suit? Because this is not just a Fulton County situation.
Mhm.
It's throughout the whole
Right.
state of Georgia.
You're right. After I get the Fulton County Sheriff's Office to be one of the number one sheriff's offices in the United States,
Mhm.
that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it on the road and train other agencies to be like ours. And
Yeah.
I'm going to get this
You gotta get
in-house
it together
first.
first.
Yeah.
Because I got a
Yeah.
task on my hand.
Of
Oh,
course,
yeah,
because
I
you
got
know,
a
you
task.
do.
But I'm
everyone
glad
is
you
going to
asked
be
me.
paying attention to
Right.
that, you know, to
Right.
see what it is that you can do that's different because they're going to try to see how they can follow
Right.
suit,
Yeah.
you know.
Because you got to face it. Atlanta is the city, the international
Yes,
city. That's where
yeah.
the Olympics came here. We had the Democratic Convention here.
Yeah,
We
the
had
soccer.
the World Cup is
The World
coming
Cup is
here.
2026.
So we had the world's biggest airport right
Right.
around the corner.
Yeah.
Yes.
International.
Right? UPS is here.
FedEx.
Mercedes, yeah, FedEx,
Mhm. Mhm.
Mercedes Benz, Porsche.
Yeah.
We should be the same in law enforcement.
That's right.
Number one law enforcement agency in the country and strive to be in the world, not the most notorious, dangerous jail.
Yeah, that's
Because
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is why I ran.
yeah.
This tarnished our badge.
Yes.
Seeing this hurt us, the
Yes.
retirees. So we had to do something about this.
So I know if you guys
Yeah.
can see it,
Yeah.
he held up an article that said healthcare provider calls jail its most dangerous.
Most dangerous.
So they're saying the Fulton
Yeah,
County
because we
jail
got
is the
men
most dangerous.
dying in jail.
It's ridiculous.
You know, dying.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you expect, and I hate to even expect the occasional suicide because
Mhm.
people can't, you know, retain or cope,
Right.
you know, being on the inside.
Mhm.
But to just be dying because of lack of security,
Lack of
to die for lack of health protocol,
Mhm.
to die for lack of proper things that you're supposed to have, whether it be bedding or cleanliness or what have you, that's just outrageous.
Look at this article. The incarcerated deserve care.
They do.
They do. They
Yeah.
deserve care
They
and
do.
much more.
Yeah.
They're still human beings, and I think that the prison system has taken away, or whoever
Mhm.
has taken away the right to be a human being because you're incarcerated. It's just not fair.
It's not
Especially when it's false imprisonment,
fair. Right.
you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you get arrested for something that you had no involvement in,
Mhm.
and then you have to go through these things. You know, it's
Some of those
heartbreaking.
people haven't even been to court yet,
No.
so you don't know if they're
For
guilty or
months.
innocent.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
why I
You
call
know,
it detaining.
yeah. You don't know if they're
Detaining.
guilty. You don't know if they're innocent, and they
It's
just
just
went
a case
through.
waiting and it don't have a
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, it sucks.
It's
Yeah.
And you have to have a caretaker, leader like me,
Mhm.
to be over that, to make sure that we're accountable, the deputies, to do
Yes.
their job to be caretakers.
Yes.
Because when I was there, we were caretakers, our group.
Yeah.
Because everyone coming in there was in trouble. They didn't come there because they were good in Sunday school.
Right.
Right.
So you have to understand that. And if you don't have the heart to serve, you don't need to be a deputy sheriff.
That's how I feel.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
You
on
have
that
to have
note,
empathy.
Right.
You know, you gotta have
Emotional
humanism.
intelligence.
You know, and all of that.
Mhm.
So definitely. But sounds like we're going to commercial.
Yeah, we're gonna go to commercial on that note. You have to have the heart.
Yeah.
Have some heart.
And that's
Yes.
what I'm gonna be hiring.
That's
We'll
right.
be right back on his 92.
Because I was like, this footage of
This is the only one that says tomorrow. There wasn't a Tevin Campbell. It was only this Quincy. Huh?
He's just supposed to go to his
Oh, my bad.
It's okay.
No, because I had played it during the last one. I had knocked it out. Did I? Wait. No.
6:15.
Okay. Okay. You want me to just take it out?
No, it's not like commercial.
I thought I did. Yeah.
She played the commercial too.
Right.
That's why I'm surprised when you were saying
Okay,
it.
that's fine. We'll just play Man in the Mirror.
Okay. So just let this finish playing? Okay. All right.
I have a question. Who wants to- I just want to answer one. I didn't answer one question. You got one. You want to ask yours first?
It kind of goes back and ties into.
You want to do that first one?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, man. This well, I had a sheet and it got recalibrated for that exact sheet. And now it is recalibrated.
You really with your dad, huh? I love it. I know. I love that. I love it. That's the best back in the world. You don't have no child behind you. Listen, it's amazing. I love y'all's relationship. Y'all learn from each other.
She was a good
Yes, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. He's like, yeah.
Keep him on his toes.
Right.
Yeah. I see it.
We just came
It's the bar.
I just came from school. And my mom, she said, we just went to the car with
Oh my God. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Oh. You should meet his mom.
Oh, yeah.
That's a powerhouse. Right
Yeah.
She definitely is.
Yeah.
She's on point game time.
Mama's a powerhouse, okay?
I stepped to the chick with her.
Okay. You better.
But she's on point game type, but she's also very down to earth.
Oh, yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
She's very down to earth.
Those education classes that you have after those are actually kind of good. It's not like
And now look at you.
Yes,
And now look at you. That's all we need is a little bit of faith. A little bit of faith in people to say, hey, they can get a second chance. You can help them with this, or help them with a little bit of that, and it can turn their whole life around. Do something on your chance. That's all they need.
the attorney I had at the time, she's now a judge. She left this because she's a judge now. Oh my God, positions, like I'm looking at stuff now and the people that helped me get to where I am today, I'm like,
Okay, I'm gonna bring it back down. I'm about to bring it back down and bring y'all in. Let me fix this first. Okay, pulling it down. And hot mics.
And we're back. It's the ladies of FIYE Radio on Hits 92.3. And we're sitting here today with James J.C. Brown, running for sheriff of Fulton County.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Glad to be here and honored, as I stated. Thank
Yes.
you for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. And Shonda,
Absolutely.
you said you had a question.
I did, because, my biggest thing is mental health, right? And so just how do you plan on, it's such a huge thing, not just in the jails, but in the county itself. There's no more hospitals, there's no more direction. There's so many homeless people, and a lot of them are criminals, not because they're criminals, but because their mental capacity is not good. And then when they get to the jail, they're treated wrong, they're misidentified. So my question is, how do you plan on tackling the mental health crisis in the sheriff's department?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that.
Okay.
Because over my 30 years with the sheriff's office, I was the first crisis intervention officer trained with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office.
Yes. Okay.
And that started in 2005 because they wanted to bring the incarceration rate down in the jail, bring the population down in the jail. And they were seeing that the mentally challenged, instead of going to the appropriate places, the hospitals, Brady, they were sending them to jail.
Yes.
So they said, okay, we're going to have a crisis intervention program where officers are going to be trained. And before, if someone, say someone was out on the street, right? And they took a brick and threw it through the window and they were acting irate, crazy. They would call crisis intervention officer and we would assess them. No, they need to go to Brady instead of jail.
Okay.
So that was part of my duty as a crisis intervention officer. And that helped to bring the population at the jail down because we assessed them.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do, all my deputies are going to be crisis intervention certified.
Yes. Yes.
Especially the ones in the Ward Division, the law enforcement division, rather, because they're out there in the streets.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That way, they'll be able to assess somebody that's mentally challenged.
Yes.
And the program was 2 weeks that we had to go through, and it was done by grading. So we had psychologists, doctors, sociologists, grassroots organizations. Every organization that dealt with the mentally challenged was there to train us.
I'm glad that you are experienced in that notion, because a lot of times it's just an intervention that they need, and just somebody that just says, okay, let me talk to you, you know what I'm saying, and let me get you somewhere you can get help, and not somewhere we just throw you in a cell and forget about you, and then you just have all kinds of things going on at the time. So I'm very pleased to hear that your experience does, and that makes you a better candidate to me, you know.
And let me tell you this part about it.
Okay.
Before I became crisis intervention certified, I was in a unit that we picked up was called 1013. That was for mentally challenged people.
Okay.
So say a loved one saw that their son or daughter had a mental challenge, they would go down to probate court and get a court order. They would give it to our unit and we would go to their house. And there I learned, that's where I really learned to be empathetic with people.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a loved one, a mom who went down to the court system to get her child some help, but here we are to pick him up. So you had to deal with the mentally challenged person and the mom. So we had to comfort both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And we would take that individual to get them care. If they weren't under arrest, they were going to get care. This is before I was even trained as a crisis intervention officer.
Okay.
And I was in that unit for over 5 years dealing with the mentally challenged. So that's something that's dear to my heart.
I love that. Yes.
And let me show you something real quick.
Okay.
If we have time.
Oh, we do.
Should have had it on top, but
That's important because I grew up in a house where my aunt was schizophrenic, and so she was always like at a store or somewhere she didn't really have not no business, but just she might go get her nails done and then have just walking off and all kind of stuff, and they would call us and say, hey, your aunt come get her, you come get her or something like that, and that's better than calling. Yeah, that's community there because the community knew her, and then even the officers would. Bring her home because they knew her and stuff like that. I think that was your era too. Yeah. I think that was your era because I was a teenager. Yeah.
This right here is a gentleman who is mentally challenged. Okay? And we had to go pick him up. His mother met us on the street with the father, and the mother was crying. And she said, my baby is out of control in the house. Can you go get him some help? We said, ma'am, we're here. Just myself and another officer. And she said he's about 6'4", 280, and he lifts weights.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah. Big boy.
He's a nice one.
So I said, okay. So we went to the house, and you can hear me there tearing it up. So I got on radio and called for 2 other officers.
Needs
It was
backup.
assistants. And we did a game plan. And that day I was training an officer, brand new day, that out of our days. So I told him, we're gonna go in, get him, get him some help.
Yes.
So when we went in, he had this 50-pound weight he threw at us.
Oh,
Wham!
wow.
And he hit one of the officers,
Uh-huh.
and he could have been justified on using force necessary.
Yes.
I told him, no, Matt, retreat. Let's get out. So he did that. So I called my lieutenant downtown, right? Now, this is back in the day. I said, LT, this is JT over here. We got a situation that he said, well, handle it, Click.
All right.
I said, okay.
Get it done.
So we did a game plan. We ended up getting them. We tore our uniforms up, but we got them out there safely. Got them in the car. The mother's out there crying, oh my God. So a few days after, we took them down to Grady.
Okay.
Right? You know, on the elevator, we had a situation with him too. He was a big guy. But we got him there safely. Nobody got hurt.
Thank
Uniforms were torn up.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, get a call. Brown, the sheriff wants to see you. I'm like, uh-oh. Because we never see the sheriff.
Right.
Our office is way over here.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh man. He said, what did you do? I don't know. So we get down there and the sheriff is like, she told me to bring these guys who would be too. So she said, She said, you guys did a wonderful job. This is a letter the mother sent to the sheriff stating that we could have used force on her baby, but we showed empathy to get him what he needed. And she gave us this letter. The mother wrote it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I told the guys, I said, and this is for everybody out there. I'd rather have letters like this in my file than be getting indicted.
Yes.
Right.
Thank
You got
you.
me?
Yes.
You only have a split second to think,
Mhm.
but think about that person that's a human being.
Yes.
Because we could have been justified for sure. It wasn't
Right.
no way. And that was before the cameras and all this. But we used empathy. And the officer who was getting ready to use it, he thanks me to this day. He says, Brown,
Yeah, that could have been
Thank
life
you.
changing for him as well.
thank you for calling us out like that.
Yeah.
He said, because I
He was ready.
yeah, he would have been
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, that leads
Yeah.
me to my next question. That's a great segue because over the last several years, there has been a lot of violence between cops and citizens. Just like that situation that you spoke of that could have turned out different. But there are some situations where it should have turned out different. What will you have in place to ensure that officers are doing their due diligence before they are pulling out their guns and shooting people? Because it could be not a gun.
Right.
It could be a child.
Mhm.
It could be someone's house you're entering. It could be the wrong house. What are you going to do? What are you going to put in place to make sure or to help make sure?
Help
Because
make
I know
sure.
that you
Right.
can't fix everything, right? But what will you put in place to help make sure that those things are lessened and don't happen and innocent children, men, and women aren't out here being killed?
But I think where it first starts is in the hiring process.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that individual is one for law enforcement.
Yes.
Because when I got hired, it took like a year and a half to get hired. They went in your background, they talked to the teachers and everybody to make sure you didn't have a temper or attitude or you just snap. I mean, really. And we had to take a psychological test, a real one, not no 5-minute one. So I'm going to have that in place when I'm doing the hiring. Next is going to be training at the academy. Make sure we have that crisis intervention training. And also, I may even take it a step further and make them take hostage negotiation training. I'm a hostage negotiator too, because what that does, that gives you the ability to communicate better. Okay? So I'm gonna put crisis intervention in there and hostage negotiation in there at the last 2 weeks. And they're gonna be like, his whole department is CIT certified and hostage negotiation certified. And let me tell you how important that is. And being a deputy, when you start off at the jail, you can go in a cell with 50 men, right? You don't have no gun. So you have to have the gift of this.
Okay.
Communicate. If you don't, you're gonna have a bad day every day.
Say every day.
Every day. So you learn how to communicate And you also learn how to investigate
Mhm.
because something is always happening. So you have to talk to the two individuals, sort it out, do your investigation in a calm, quick manner. I always tell people this. You have to be quick to listen, quick to understand, and quick to serve as a deputy sheriff. Okay? So you assess it out and you learn how to talk to people. Then you also learn how to assess out who really is a bad guy, who is not.
Yes.
You in there. Okay. So when you get out on the street and you stayed in the jail for 2 years, you get a one-on-one with somebody, isn't it? Man, please. It's like, okay, tell me what happened.
Yes.
And you're not scared of that person.
Mhm.
You know, I see a lot of agencies now. You get a kid coming out of college, go to the academy, and then you put them out on the street and put them in the worst zone. That's why I think they're going here
They
first.
quick to shoot and ask questions.
Right.
Yeah.
They're probably
Innocent people are dying.
right.
Yeah.
So,
And you're right, they're frightened. Yeah, they're scared of what can happen to them or what they can do to them,
right.
not realizing they're the biggest threat because they have the uniform, they have the gun, they have the badge. That's the bigger threat.
Bigger threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that going to the jail, get that jail training that you get, make sure that every deputy gets that. And like I said, crisis intervention training and hostage negotiation so they can communicate.
And you're right. They used to do a more thorough. I remember
hiring process.
Yeah, because I remember at one point I wanted to be a officer in the jail, and I don't know why, but I did. But I had previously got
Sounds
it.
like her.
It sounds like me.
For service.
Yeah.
I like people, but
You like helping people, so I can see that.
I do, but at that time I was still very young, and I had been in some trouble previously, and I had an anger management. I had an anger issue.
No.
Not you.
Yes, anger management.
No, I had anger issues. My mom was in prison for a very long time, you know, and so all of that trickle effect, I had anger issues. And so I had gotten in some trouble, and then I did anger management and all of these things. But when I went for my interview, I passed everything. But the officer told me, he pulled me in the back. He said, I can't hire you. I said, why not? And he said, because if I hire you and something happens, then they're going to look at me and say, why did you hire her? Because she has anger issues. And I was so hurt. But later I understood it. I was like, because I really wasn't over my anger issues at that time. So something could have triggered something. And so that, for me, that was a good call for him. Not to hire me, because that could have triggered something and something could have happened just off a little thing. So I think it wasn't personal. It's just your mental at the time. Everybody has stages in their life. Now I work really hard to be unangry. You know what I'm saying? And in a very positive place in my life. And so, but at that time, he did a great call. And so there needs to be more of that, because those are the things that need to be looked at to say, you don't have no business being an officer right now. Maybe later, maybe later on, but not right now, because you still hasn't been enough time spread or whatever that looks like for you to go forth in that journey. You know what I mean? So that was a good call in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I look at things now and how they are. Like, those are the calls that need to be made to keep people safe. So I like that.
Got time for one last question?
Well, kind of going back to our conversation earlier, I was mentioning to the ladies that I haven't had like a racial situation. I've never been in one to say I'm racially profiled or anything like that. And I said, because I was very intentional with living in communities with people that look like me and having my kids go to schools with kids that look like them. And I can see, based off of your heart and wanting to go back into the sheriff department within Fulton County, and your son going to Morehouse, that's something important to you as well. So my question to you would be, as a voter, and I'm Caucasian, what is it that you're offering that would make me interested in voting for you? Because I know that your target is your community. Because I have seen, with not putting her down or anything like that, but because I truly love her. Gosh, my name is not here right now, but she was going for governor of this, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey
Abrams. Okay,
Stacey
yes.
Abrams. I think that her approach when she was running in office was so much geared towards the black community that she failed the others. You understand? So I just wanted to know, like, is that, I know that is something that you're working on as well, but what is the plan
Okay.
to not have any communities feel that there is a division with what your intentions are?
I tell people like this. I worked from bankhead to buckhead when I was with the sheriff's office.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in North County for years up there. And in North County, I serviced just like I did the south side of Fulton County. Because like you stated, Fulton County is big. It has 15 cities
Right.
in it. So what I'm gonna do for the north side is watch over their tax dollars being spent at the sheriff's office. Okay, because they pay a big high tax because they have the $1 million homes. So that's what I'm gonna do for them, line item budgeting, plus public safety, meaning I'm gonna team up with the agencies up there, the police departments, when they need task force. They'll call down to us and say, hey, can you send up 2 or 3 officers for the weekend and help? We're gonna do that.
Provide that, yes.
We're also gonna have a jail that's open up on the north side, so they won't have to take their officers out of service, driving way down the Rice Street, because that's an hour drive.
Yeah.
So when that happens, that officer is out of service up there and not able to protect the public.
Oh, wow.
So that's another issue that I'm going to resolve, that they are concerned with. Because I've been up to the north side and have talked from Johns Creek, Alpharetta, Mountain Park, Milton, Sandy Springs, Roswell. I've been up
All
there.
those North Fulton counties.
North Fulton County. And that's their concern, and that's what I'm going to do for them.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, because
But-
I do realize that
Yeah.
their stories are very, very different.
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
to
it is.
what's going on, like
That's
more the
right.
south side.
Yeah,
of
they're concerned
Atlanta.
about those tax dollars.
Okay.
being spent.
Yes,
Yeah.
awesome.
And that's being misused right now. The inmate welfare fund was taken away from the current administration because of mismanagement. When the current administration took over in 2020, the budget was 90 million. Now it's almost $250 million. It went up to another $100 million, and no problems were
What's being
resolved.
done with the state
Last year,
dollars?
there was
Yeah.
an extra
Getting
$85,000 in the budget.
Right.
And people dying.
Yeah.
People dying.
Wow.
spending
Nothing being correct.
I'm keeping my shit. Go ahead.
No.
You talking, you
I know,
know.
I know way too much.
Yes.
I'm supposed to not know.
That's
Well, you are
crazy.
supposed to know.
I mean, oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm not gonna put my names on the cars and play it around. And I'm not gonna have a duplication of services. I'm gonna let the police do their job, and we're gonna be a sheriff's department, a sheriff's office, not a police department. It's a difference.
Difference, it's
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
a
We
difference.
don't need scorpion units and this unit and that unit. What we need is to get the Fulton County Sheriff's Office under control by what we're supposed to do by the Constitution.
And that will trickle down to the regular offices, and then you are as good as your leader.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly. Yeah. So you have to have someone in there who has explicit and tacit knowledge of the sheriff's office, and that's James J.T. Brown.
That's
right.
Right.
Yes.
I tell people this: I am a law enforcement CEO.
Okay.
Because I had a law enforcement experience, and I also have the business acumen to handle almost $250 million budget because I have a security company.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
and I manage people, resources, had to deal with contracts, payroll, the insurance companies. So I've done all that, and I'm ready for the job.
You are
I'm
qualified.
qualified to
You are
go in there
qualified.
and handle the budget and the law enforcement part of it.
That's right.
And I say this to people: he who boasts in the Lord. I'm not boasting, but the Lord has blessed me to come out here to help the people, the whole, all the citizens
Yes.
of Fulton County,
Let's go.
from north to south. And I'm ready to serve. J.T. Brown will make the Fulton County Sheriff's Office what it's supposed to be.
And I believe it.
Okay, listen, you heard it here. He is here. He is the sheriff-elect for Fulton County Sheriff, J.T. Brown. So tell us where they can find you and support your campaign and, you know, when the election is.
The election is May 21st.
Mhm.
Okay, early voting is April the 29th.
Mhm.
Now, please go out there and vote because we don't want a runoff.
That's right.
Yeah.
We do not want that.
Yes.
So please go out there to vote for James J.T. Brown. You can find me at jamesjtbrown.com, or I'm gonna give you my cell phone number
Hey.
because everyone else calls me for advice.
That's right.
So
But-
why not?
Okay.
My number is 404-484-2065 because this is a people-powered campaign that I'm having. I don't have any big companies support me, no contractors because they want to get the food contract or whatever contract back at the jail. I have a people-powered funded campaign, the people. So I am for the people. So people, time, talent, donation, please help James J.T. Brown get in office.
That's
I know
right.
that's right. Well, you definitely have my support,
Yes.
Mr.
Mine
Brown. And once you get in office, let me know because I'm gonna be helping you with
I
some
know.
of the programs
You already
and
know.
all of that.
Yes.
I'm with you. I'm with
You
you.
need grassroots
Yes.
organizations.
Yes.
You already know that you're one of the first persons I talked to. I came out and spoke to your group, and that made me more excited.
Yes.
Yeah, it really did.
It was a great
Yeah, it
event
was
too.
great.
Yes, it was a great
London,
event.
you've been sitting back there quiet the whole time. What you got to say, London?
Come
on over,
come
come on
Yes,
over.
yes. Yeah.
One thing I do want to say, just being in the car with my dad all the time, and just being, this is more than just his campaign. This is a family campaign.
Yes.
Yes. Talk about it.
One thing I had to say this. I want to be quiet, but I had to say this. One thing that he didn't say, that he always tells me, is that it's not just black men in the jail. It's
Everybody.
white,
Everybody.
Hispanic,
Right.
anyone can go to the jail. That's something he told me.
That's right.
It doesn't matter, black, white, it doesn't matter. If you are a person in Fulton County, you can go to Fulton County jail.
That's
He's
right.
here to service all of Fulton County.
That's
I just want to make sure I said that.
Yes.
Because he told me that.
I love it. That's right.
I love you, London. You so dope.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Oh, my.
It was very good. I appreciate your honesty, really, and I can really see great things happening. So you are our sheriff, not
Thank
just the sheriff-elect for Fulton County. Yes.
Yes. And thank you for answering the tough questions.
Yes.
Like, I thank you for answering the tough questions, being upfront, and just being very vocal about what you plan to do.
Yeah.
And you see, I didn't need no notes.
I know. You need no notes. It was just like I got this piece, I got this proof right here. I got these receipts. He had some receipts, but he had no notes. It was just
Don't need no
receipts.
notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want a sheriff who can answer the questions without notes.
Yes.
Right.
If somebody is coming in here with notes, they're gonna have a problem running the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. I guarantee you.
They need a free and clear mind. They need to be able to pop it off,
Yeah.
pop it right on out the mind. Let's go. And so
We're gonna go into some music.
here's some music.
Yeah,
Okay.
some Michael Jackson, Man,
Man
in the Mirror.
I look at
Yes.
yourself.
That's
That's
perfect.
right.
Yes, I like it. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we gonna do tiny topics?
I'm gonna keep it very, very simple.
Gonna feel really good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. Turn the you're here in the street, but not enough to read. Who am I to be blind? Pretending not to see them. I saw us disregard, so broken
Gonna bring it out. Don't mind. That's the part I'm waiting on. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel you and everything, but I'm sorry.
It's time for Tiny Topic. Hey guys, it's Tiny Tanya. I'm going to talk about some things that's trending on the internet this week. I'm going to keep it short and sweet and just pay my respects. First up is fashion designer Roberto Cavalli. At the age of 83, we lost a great designer, great designer. Hip hop legend, DJ, Mr. C.
Mr. C,
at age 57. Yes, in New York City. So that was a big one, a big loss for New York.
Everybody's sad, yes.
And last but not least, NFL great O.J. Simpson at the age of 76.
Look at those three great men.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Sending out
so
prayers, love, peace, and strength to all the families.
yeah, so gonna keep that one light and sweet, and we will see you guys. Talk to you guys again next week. Next week Friday, same place, same time.
Tap in on Tuesday.
And on Tuesday, our repeat shows. And here you have it. The latest
Let's go. Take some pictures.